Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great day today. So e.l.f. finally released their entire shade range for their new Camo Powder Foundation. So today we're going to be trying this out on my oily, acne-prone 40+ skin. I'm going to show you guys my first impression when I apply it, and then we'll go over some of the claims. We'll see if they match up to my first impressions, and then we're going to shoot for an 8-hour wear test, and we're going to see how this holds up on my skin today. So let's jump right into it. So I ordered this in 2 shades, and as far as I know, you can only get like 12 of the shades in store at Ulta, and then the rest of the shades you have to order online. So let me know in the comments if you guys have found like the entire shade range at any of the stores, but I wasn't able to do that, so I had to order them online, which was very annoying because they released 12 shades like a whole month or month and a half before they released all the other ones, and I just was very annoyed at that. But anyway, I ordered 2 of the shades. So I have 460W. This is 460W, and this one is Deep 510C. So the 460W is considered a tan shade. So yes, this is tan 460W, and this is Deep 510C. So they do look very similar, but hopefully you guys can tell the differences in the undertones. I think this one is going to be my shade, but I'm going to swatch both of these so that you can get an idea in case you can use me as a shade reference. So let's start off with tan 460W. This one is definitely a lot warmer than the cool tone one. So this is 460W. Let me see if I can build it up a little bit. So this one is 460W. And then next, let's swatch Deep 510C. And let me see if I can build this one up too. I'm probably gonna have to do cheek swatches too. So this is tan 460W, Deep 510C. I still think that the 510C is gonna be my shade. So I'm gonna start off with this one, and if I feel like it's not quite right, then I'll go to 460. I do always have a hard time getting my undertone with e.l.f. complexion products, so I really didn't have high hopes for this one, but I do think that 510C will work. But I feel like e.l.f. just doesn't do a good job in general with their undertones for my complexion range, but we'll see, you know, how this works out. Okay, so I have my concealer on pretty much in the center of my face, but primarily on the under eye area, and I've also set the under eye area. I always do my makeup in that order when I'm using a powder foundation so that I can blend the powder around the concealer. So I'm going to be using the shade Deep 510C. Now powder foundations, they always come with these little sponges that really should never be used to apply powder foundation. These really should only be used to touch up your powder foundation on the go. I'm going to be applying this with a brush so that I can really like work the powder foundation into my skin. I usually use this brush for powder foundations because I like the density of it. Today I'm going to try this brush from Merit Beauty. I'm going to start off with this, and if I don't like it, then I'll switch back over to my standard powder foundation brush. Okay, so I just picked some up and then just tapped off the excess, so I have about that much on the brush. I always like to build my products up on my face instead of accidentally putting on too much and then just having too much stuff on the face. So I think this is a good amount to start out with, and I'm going to start off on the cheek area, and then I like to just apply my powder foundations in a stippling motion and just really like work it into the skin, and I'm just blending it like around the areas where I've already applied my concealer. So right off the bat, I can't even remember what coverage level this claims to have. I did already watch a couple of videos on this because it's been out for so long, like some of the shades, and I just couldn't help myself. So I did already watch some videos, but it's been a minute and I can't remember what coverage it claims to have, but I do think that you can definitely get this up to a full coverage if you wanted to. I think it starts out as a medium coverage, but I can kind of tell by the level of coverage that I'm already getting that this one is going to be a nice buildable to full formula. It's blending out really, really nicely, and I'm getting like that smooth, like blurred effect that you would typically get from a powder foundation. So far, so good. I don't put as much foundation regardless of the type of foundation it is. I just don't put as much on my forehead as I do on my cheeks. I just don't need as much product up there. But it looks really pretty so far, and I really like the shade. I've only come across 2 people that I know have told me that we're foundation twins. So I know most people don't have the same undertone that I have, but I would say based on how this shade is matching me, like I have a cool pink undertone. So if you have more of like a warm or a neutral undertone, you definitely want to try the shade Tan 460W, because I can tell that these are so close to each other that if you have like the opposite undertone of me, then this is probably going to be your shade, the Tan 461. Okay, so this is what it looks like on one side of the face. I will go back and build it up a little bit. I feel like this level of coverage is really, really good, but I am going to go back and build it up just so that we can see if it is in fact nice and buildable. I can kind of already tell that it is, but I will go on top of it with one other layer. But this is what it looks like. So far, so good. It looks really, really pretty. I'm going to apply it to the other side of the face while I give you guys some of the information about the product, and then we'll see if the claims match up to my first impressions. The e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation is a primer-infused pressed powder foundation that delivers buildable coverage in an airbrush finish. It's supposed to be a long-lasting 16-hour wear that's a non-cakey look, and it should stay put all day long. It's supposed to be light as air and crease resistant, and it's talc-free. It's available in a wide range of 30 shades, and it retails for $11. Again, I believe you can only get 12 of the shades in store at Ulta, but the entire shade range is available on e.l.f.'s website, and I am testing out the shade Deep 510C. Okay, so this is what one layer of the foundation looks like on my face, and I do think that everything that the foundation is claiming to do, it's doing that so far. It's definitely giving me a very airbrush finish. It does feel very light as air. It doesn't really feel like there's anything on my face. I'm gonna test the buildability in just a second, but I think the level of coverage that I got with that one layer is really, really nice. So far, so good. I'm gonna go on top of this with just a little bit more, primarily on the cheek area, and I really don't think that I'm gonna get too much more coverage, but I do want to see if when you go on top of it with another layer, does it get cakey at all. So that's the main thing that I'm testing out right now. So I'm just gonna go in with one more layer, and like I said, primarily on the cheek area. So I don't know if y'all made that out on camera, but I did notice right away that it did cover up a little bit more stuff, like as soon as I started applying it. So it did give me a little bit more coverage. So I would definitely consider this buildable, which is what I thought, but it is giving me a little bit more coverage with that second layer. I'm gonna apply just a little bit more. I don't know if you guys can like really make out the blemishes that I still have left on the cheeks, but let's see if we can get this covered. Yeah, it is giving me a little bit more coverage, but I do still see some stuff peeking through. So is it like the most full coverage foundation that I've ever tried? No, but it is pretty nice coverage. Like if you don't have as much to cover up as I do, then you can definitely get like a super flawless finish with this. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. So far, I feel like it's built up to the maximum coverage that I can get with this. So I really, really like it. I think it looks really, really beautiful so far. So I did mention earlier that I usually don't have the best luck with e.l.f.'s like undertones. I think that this one is a really nice shade match for me. Not the best, but I think it is really nice. The shade that I have in the Camo CC Cream, I don't remember what that is, but I tried 2 shades and I didn't like them. So I think that all of the shades in the powder foundation, they mimic the shades in the CC Cream. So I will go back and see about getting this shade in their CC Cream, because I really like that. It's just that the color of it, I didn't like it on my skin. But so far, this is looking really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of of my makeup off camera. I'll show y'all what that looks like, and then we will start our wear test. Okay guys, here's my makeup for today. So the foundation has been sitting on my face for about 15 minutes now, and in terms of how it's laying on the skin, I still think it looks really pretty. I still feel like I'm getting good coverage, and it looks like a very nice airbrushed finish on my face. I do kind of think around the mouth area it is starting to look a little ashy, more so than it did when I first put it on. So let me know if you can see that, but I often feel like what I'm looking at in the camera is different from what I'm seeing in the mirror. So maybe it's not as noticeable to y'all, but to me it's just looking a little like ashy, and I often go through that with e.l.f. complexion products. It's like the undertones just never really work for me. But I mean, I would wear this, it looks okay, but it's just looking a little different now as it's like settling into the skin. But in terms of how it's laying on the skin, I think it looks really pretty so far. So we're gonna start our wear test, and I usually shoot for 8 hours. I think for today I'm gonna have to stretch it to more like 10 hours because of my schedule, but I will still pop in around the halfway mark, and then after that I'm just gonna have to stretch it out a little bit because of my schedule. So it's basically 11 o'clock Saturday morning, so we'll start the wear test now, and then I will see y'all a little bit later on. Okay, so I'm standing in front of the window right now, so the sunlight is going in and out, of course, but it's about 4:15, so we're about 5 hours into the wear test right now. So this is what my face is looking like, and I think that the makeup is pretty much intact after 5 hours, but I am more shiny than I would like to be. I just always think that a powder foundation should last a little bit longer on me compared to a liquid before my face starts getting shiny. So I am more shiny than I would like to be, but the makeup is still intact. It does look like if I were to refresh it right now, it would just look like I just put it on. So other than, you know, me being shiny, I think it looks okay. So I won't be able to come back until about 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. So that'll be my final check-in, and then I will give y'all my final thoughts. Okay, I am back. It's exactly 8 o'clock in the evening, so that's 9 hours for today. So I was able to get back just a little bit earlier than I expected. So this is what we're looking like after 9 hours of wear, and I think that I am quite shiny. The makeup does still look intact, just like it did when I did the halfway mark check-in. So I mean, it's intact. I'm just really shiny. So the last thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna blot and I'm gonna repowder, and then this time I am gonna test out this little sponge thingy to repowder my face. So first I'm just gonna take a little piece of tissue to blot off the excess oil. This is how I would refresh my makeup if I were like out and about. I would take a piece of tissue and just blot primarily in my T-zone area. And then quite often I would just stop right here, because as soon as you get rid of that excess oil, your skin automatically looks refreshed. But just for the sake of like testing this little thing out, I'm gonna use this to apply a little bit more of the powder. So if you're gonna use this thing, just, you know, gently tap. Don't like go crazy picking up too much of the powder. So I have about that much on. I don't have very much on at all, and I'm just gonna concentrate it right in those same areas where I just blotted off that excess oil. I am gonna pick up just a little bit more and put it kind of like right in the center of the forehead. Okay, so this is what the makeup looks like after I've refreshed it with a little bit more powder. So overall, I think it looks okay. I do see a little bit of caking right here. So I'm gonna take this little sponge thingy. I'm just noticing that. I'm just gonna see if I can flatten this out at all. It's kind of like bunching up right here. So this thing is not really doing anything. It's kind of making it flake off a little bit. So I don't know if it's something with my skin, because I only noticed that right here. That's the only place on my whole face where I notice it. So maybe it's just something going on with my skin right there. But outside of this little piece, I think overall it wore okay. So would I recommend this? Yeah, I mean, I think it is worth trying out, especially because it's only $11. And overall, I think it wore okay on my skin. I think I was a little bit more shiny than I wanted to be, but I think it is worth trying out. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation versus the Fenty Powder Foundation, because I am interested to see these side by side. I can't remember how long it takes for this one to start getting shiny on me, so I would like to do a side by side comparison of these two. So let me know if you would be interested in that. So I hope that for those of you who were interested in this new e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, that you found this video helpful and that you liked it. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.